What up, guys, and welcome to the Overkill Underground. Here we are, episode 9, Survivor.
Number 9.
Great episode.
Now there are 10. 10 left.
Only 10.
Yeah, we lost 10. We got 10 left.
I do want to take it back, though. At the end of the last episode, episode 8.
Yeah.
You know, it was really a brilliant move where one of the best immunity idol plays I've ever seen.
It was pretty awesome.
And it was
great.
It was great, though. It was great because she was able to take advantage of the fact that the tribe was so dumb.
That's what I'm thinking about. They were so stupid about not splitting the votes. They had such huge numbers over the three girls there.
They didn't split the votes. And Wentworth pulls the idol, and Savage is gone.
Right.
So they get rid of Savage. And, of course, that's kind of going to tear up Jeremy's world a little bit.
And which he said.
He's concerned, and, of course, he's looking for the idol.
Yeah.
First thing. And everybody, personally,
everybody starts looking for the idol.
Everybody should be.
Right.
As far as I'm concerned. And then Abby runs up, and she sees Joe looking for the idol, catches him.
Well, why can't Joe look for the idol like everybody else?
That's exactly what I'm like, okay, so she runs over and starts telling, I think she was telling Sierra.
That's just editing there, I think.
And I'm like, are you kidding? I mean, I see these girls run. They're getting all giddy about Joe looking for the idol. It's like, well, no kidding, you know?
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen. But we break right into the reward challenge, and holy cow. That started off, they had the...
And they did exactly what you said about picking. You know, he mentioned the two captains and didn't say the order that they picked in, but the one person that didn't get picked was Abby.
Yeah. So Abby was sitting out, and the challenge was...
it was a nice reward. It was a nice reward.
It was a great reward.
Yeah.
Great reward. And the challenge itself...
They've had that before.
They've done that challenge before, but it had a lot to it. You know, where they got to build the ladder.
Yeah.
And then they got to go through with the key and then run through get the key all the way down the rope through this obstacle course and finally to the end with the puzzle.
Right.
And
those are always entertaining.
I'll tell you what, they absolutely.
I didn't think he had it right.
Well, it was purple team and green team.
Yeah.
And purple, they wasted the green team. I mean, absolutely wasted them. And the purple team did consist of, and they said Tasha was the captain.
Yeah.
So,
Tasha, Joe,
Fishbach, Spencer, Joe, and Sierra.
All guys. She got all guys, and she's pretty physical herself.
And she is.
But
that's true.
She got Joe, Fishbach, and Spencer, who, I guess, better than Keith.
Yeah. Right.
But I don't know.
And then you had the green team.
You think Joe was picked first?
I would imagine so.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Wigglesworth was the captain on the green team, and that was followed with Keith, Wentworth, Kappenberg, and Jeremy. And Jeremy looked...
Well, you get Keith and Kappenberg on the same team. They're both a little older, a little slower, and
much slower. Yeah. And Jeremy was angry. I mean, he was just absolutely disappointed throughout the entire channel. And I get it. I mean, you could see how things were just getting fumbled. They just couldn't get the step ladder put together the right way. And so that didn't help either of them. I mean, the whole team, they were done right from the start, basically.
They were.
I mean, they were. And the fact that Spencer was able to run to the end, get the combinations for that lockbox that unleashed the flag for them to win, for them to get the combination in the right order when they first stuck that up on the board, that's pretty phenomenal. Because I heard, Jeff he
Probst, mentioned it right at the end.
He said, he's like, you got to have that in order, and if you don't have it in order, you got to switch the order of the boards and redo the combination.
Right.
And that would have killed their time right there. They had to actually end up switching that. And sure enough, they pull through with just a phenomenal win.
Right.
And then they all head off and get their massages and get their food and of course that's going to help on the
and it didn't sitting there watching them. Sierra's playing the game. She's talking strategy. Fishbach's there doing the exact same thing. Joe's taking a shower. I mean, I'm sure again,
Joe
that's
plays
editing.
it real cool.
Joe is cool.
Joe plays it real cool.
He really doesn't need to strategize with anybody.
He doesn't need to. Yeah,
he knows the strategy. He knows the strategy.
He does. He really does.
Everybody's gunning for him.
And that's the thing. He knows when he loses a challenge, and now of course, he's really vulnerable. He's really vulnerable because of course, we lead on to the idol. Of course, ends up being found. After Jeremy finds the clue.
Second idol.
So he finds the clue. He gets it. He ends up walking through the woods in pitch black and finds the torch off in the distance, grabs it, and so now he's got 2. As far as I'm concerned, Jeremy could be unstoppable if he plays those idols right.
Yeah.
Now he's got to be on his A game if
he can't get rid of Joe. Joe
true.
Wins the game.
That's true, but
and that could happen.
That could happen, but the important thing is too. Also, Jeremy is playing his own game. He's got his own things going on. He did find 2 idols. That should help his gameplay.
Everybody's playing their own game.
As when the jury
some people's game is a little bit more complex than others.
They are, but at least here,
Keith and Kappenberg, their game is stick with the masses, stay under the radar.
Right.
Joe is conquer all,
and he's efficient at that as far as we've seen.
And all the girls seem to be.
I mean, this is the third.
Seem to
challenge.
be a little bit, sneaky and devious and want to backstab people, and Fishbach's right on board with that.
And they got the term the witches for the 3 girls now, but
3 witches.
Jeremy really is in a phenomenal position with the 2 idols. I mean, that's
2 idols.
I mean, that's
2 idols. Fishbach making
ridiculous.
Decisions.
And that's the thing is if he can use those idols wisely, and he can really turn up his own social game with Fishbach, and kind of work to get Joe out. I mean, that can.
Oh, there's no working to get Joe out. I'm telling you, he loses the challenge. Everybody's on board to get rid of him because he's so likable. He's so good looking.
Right.
He's just
He's the number one guy.
Is he arguing or fighting with anybody?
Absolutely not. The guy
just
has been
knows
cordial
the score
with everybody. Right.
And you know who else was cordial with everybody? Wigglesworth, and that's why she's gone.
Yeah.
They mentioned that in the episode.
And
I wanted to mention too. When Cass got voted out, she got voted out, and the whole episode was highlighted with Cass. Same thing with Savage, but Savage was highlighted throughout the whole season. He's just a charismatic character.
Wigglesworth.
You didn't see a lot of Wigglesworth today.
She never says much.
Yeah.
She never says much.
She didn't say much.
But she is social enough to where the other players did point out the fact that, she likes, she walks around and talks to everybody. Everybody likes her. Right. She gets along with everybody. And so you never saw her really taking control of the game.
She never played that backstabbing, sneaky type of role that type of game. That's not her game. And she even mentioned it on her exit interview. Did you catch that?
Yeah.
She mentioned that.
She did. Right. She's like, they're playing a different game, and I'm just not into it, know?
I'm not into that game.
And it's like, well, that's what Survivor is. This is the game that you got to be into.
Right.
That's the game you're playing.
Right.
And it does get devious, backstabbing and blindsiding. Everybody knows what they're there for, and some people just aren't going to take it as seriously. Obviously, it was maybe time for her to go, and I'll tell you what.
It was. It really was.
She's gonna luck out because this next episode, the little preview they gave to it, one of my favorite things to watch in Survivor is when they start to fall apart.
Oh yeah.
Because of the rain. Rain is absolutely devastating. I mean, it crushes them.
Back to the rain. Back to the rain, and back to this episode.
I mean, yeah.
How about the immunity? The immunity challenge, they start up with that.
Oh, man.
After everybody gets back from the spa, and then the next day rolls around, they go to the immunity challenge, and it's pouring rain out.
I mean, it was storming good, too. Oh, storming real good.
It was.
And, of course, they come up and... who was the first person off there? Oh, well, they did the surprise in the challenge. Jeff goes ahead, cracks the cord with the sword.
Yeah.
And we see
the buoys pop up.
The buoys pop up, and Fishbach and Spencer are out there. And I'd say Fishbach was really the first one to jump, and that's why Spencer lost. It was within a millisecond.
Right.
Fishbach really lucked out being the first one to jump out. I mean, he really moved on it. He saw it. He was looking at it. You could tell in his eye. He didn't need to know too much about it, except for the fact that this might be important for him to get out and grab it. And he knows that he's in a good enough position
to make a move. Right.
He's in a good enough position where he knows he's not getting voted tonight.
Right.
And it was well worth it. And I'll tell you what, from what he got, that is a game-changing bit of ability that he has. To control the game at the tribal council.
I get to take your vote and disregard it or turn it into my vote.
And you get 2 votes. So you slash their vote.
I get your vote, and then I get an extra vote.
Exactly.
So basically, whoever you voted for, I get to change that vote to the way I want it.
Exactly. So it's going to be, that's pretty crucial, especially if they're voting for you.
It's a 2-point swing.
You know, and if they're voting for you, that's going to be huge. I mean, the first couple people, they went down quick. I
think five dropped right when they moved up to the
Wentworth, Jeremy, Tasha, Kappenberg. They all pretty much took a quick splash.
Dropped when they went up to that.
They come in and the
single post,
and of course, so they're already dealing with the rain. You know, they're at the challenge. They're suffering through this rain already. They zoom into their feet and their hands. I'm looking at Joe's hands. I'm like, man, his hands are so pruned up and white already.
They look like they were melting the way the water was dripping off and how shriveled up they were.
Yeah, when it zoomed down to their feet, it was just horrible looking. So they're already waterlogged. These people, they're already. Did you see everybody
sitting over by Jeff, all shivering? Every single one of them shivering.
So they're all cold. They're all shivering. The water is just it's already devastating them.
Well, just the lack of nourishment and the rain.
It's just it don't help mix. For sure. No, not at all. And even carrying into the next episode, the preview, it makes me just laugh because they're just going through complete torture at this time. They show Fishbach crying his eyes out. I mean, it's got to be rough. I mean, I can't.
It ain't that rough. Not where you're. I don't. Maybe it is. I guess it is because there's enough people that are going there and they're catching them all crying.
Yeah, with rain melting you away.
I don't know. Do you think you would cry? Would you cry?
I mean, you know me personally. I wouldn't be crying because of the rain. I'd be like, this
would you cry when you got the letter from your wife with the and the kids?
I'd like to say probably not. I really don't get super emotional about that kind of stuff. I mean, deep down in my heart. Oh my gosh!
Every time they get letters, everybody's bawling and weeping.
I'm almost wondering if they don't kind of just play that up for the camera.
I don't know.
I mean, some of them don't, I'm sure, but some of them I kind of think maybe do. Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, we'll be coming up on that. They haven't gotten that yet, so we'll see how that. We'll see how that pans out.
Letters from home.
But so I mean, 30 minutes in too, that's when we had our last competitors, and Wigglesworth, she fell in quick.
Yeah.
So she was done.
Yeah, that was 30 minutes in.
And Abby, she was solid throughout the whole thing. She really was.
Yeah, when they had they had to go to 1 foot,
and then
Abby Wigglesworth couldn't do it, and then there was the 3.
And see, they made the mistake last time. The last time I remember seeing
what
this
was Abby doing trying to stretch her ass out? I mean,
she was cramping up. I could see she was cramping up too.
I can understand that.
Yeah. I mean, what are you gonna do
when you pull that leg? That doesn't do anything for
the
leg that you're standing on.
I didn't really.
It doesn't do anything. I didn't really, and that's where your cramp is. Where
I didn't get her pulling on the opposing leg.
If anything, she wanted to do. I mean, honestly, she should have tried to do like bend over and squat a little bit.
I mean, she should have tried to move that muscle a little bit, but I mean, obviously, you're being real careful. You're on a balance beam.
You've already been standing there for a half hour.
Yeah, you're floating on water on a balance beam. I mean, and they're already standing there for 30 minutes. She was solid throughout the entire thing.
She sure was.
And Joe, he just kept his balance. I mean, he was wobbling.
It looked like he was wobbling for 20 minutes.
He was wobbling all over the place.
He was wobbling on 2 feet for 20 minutes.
He was. And then that's where they made, like I said, the last time I saw this challenge, they did, they got up onto the top with 2 feet, and they stayed like that. And so it lasted for, I think the duration of time ended up being like 3 hours.
Just standing there. Really?
Yeah, it was the.
They didn't do the 1 foot?
No, they didn't do the 1 foot, and it was the season with Parvati. It might have been season 28 or 29, somewhere in there. Maybe it was early 27.
I'm gonna have to look that up, but I could have swore that they said, "Hey, let's do it on 1 foot." I think somebody made the suggestion during the challenge.
Yeah, that could be.
After they were there for a long time.
You could be right about that.
They said, "Why don't we just do it on 1 foot?"
You could be right about that. It might have been an earlier season than that when they did it. When
I can't remember.
When Malcolm was season 26 possibly.
Honestly, if I would guess, I'm grasping at straws.
But I remember they were standing there for literally like 3 or 4 hours, where it was just something absolutely ridiculous. Where you're like, I could not imagine standing there just trying to balance for 4 hours straight.
I couldn't do it for a half hour the way they're doing it.
Right. So when they did go to 1 foot, that made sense. I mean,
that makes a lot. Yeah, that makes a big difference. I mean, obviously Wigglesworth couldn't even hang on.
She couldn't even get 1 foot up there.
Right.
She was done. She went from 2 foot and couldn't make the transition.
And Keith stayed on 1 foot for I don't know.
A little bit. He was doing pretty good.
All right. Yeah.
He seemed to be doing pretty good.
For an old country boy.
And then he just kind of fell apart. I mean, it happens though. Yeah. But he was doing all right.
Youth's not on his side.
No, certainly not. Yeah, Keith is. I mean, he's only got so much endurance.
Right. I mean, it's hard to compete with Joe.
So obviously, Joe comes through.
Wins again.
The big win.
3rd in a row.
I mean, right. 3 in a row. It's getting ridiculous now. And
well, not ridiculous yet, but give him 2 more, and then it's ridiculous.
When it gets to 5, that's exactly what I was going to say. I'm thinking the magic number is 5. When it gets to 5 in a row, he's got to
start thinking about trying to make a move other than just winning, because he could be in danger. You know what? He goes to the end with somebody like Fishbach, who's sitting there making moves left and right.
Yeah.
Controlling the game, using his extra vote when he can.
That's true.
And he gets to the end, and he can talk about the game that he played.
And Joe doesn't have much of a game right yet. Joe's
game is just to conquer.
Joe's game is to win.
Be a nice guy.
Yep. Yeah.
And
it's working for him.
It's working great.
It's working as long as he can hold on to that individual immunity. I mean, obviously he's golden, but he does need to think about maybe playing the social game and trying to orchestrate a blindside. He's very.
He needs to orchestrate.
He's very social.
Does he need to orchestrate a blindside?
It couldn't hurt, because in his position,
maybe he already knows. Blindside, but at least
what? He might as well turn up the tempo
a little bit and say, "Hey, we need to. Why don't we try to get rid of this guy?"
He's got to turn up the tempo. That's all there is to it. It doesn't matter, because he's already that guy.
Yeah.
He's already that guy that whether or not. It doesn't matter, because when he loses that individual immunity, he's gone anyhow. Everybody knows it. Everybody's going to vote for him. He is the biggest threat. He might as well get wild. He might as well turn the game on its head and start telling everybody all kinds of craziness, I mean, keep yourself safe enough to to make sure your jury's not going to hate you. Sure.
Yeah.
But still, he should start strategizing a way to really get this game into a ridiculous
at least get rid of his most lethal combatants. That would be your
Jeremy
intellectuals and your physicals.
Yeah, Jeremy and Tasha would be at the top of that list. Fishbach. So I'd say those 3 right there.
Yeah. And if they get to another balancing thing, Jeremy, something on 1 foot, 1 toe, something like that, those little girls can.
Oh, for sure, yeah. I mean, without doubt.
They can hang on those things.
Yeah,
for
and
a long
you've
time.
seen that too. We've seen it in the past where the little girls get up there and they're so small they can hold on with 1 toe to a piece of wood sticking out of a pillar that's a 1/4 inch wide. I mean,
right.
So it gets ridiculous like that.
But if he gets rid of the the physical threats the people that I don't know if there's anybody that much better in puzzles than him, but people that are good in puzzles like a Spencer.
Joe is, and Spencer doesn't do bad, but he's not excellent at them. I mean, Joe,
not a bad.
He's good.
Season,
he's a
his
smart
season.
kid.
He won.
He is a
some
smart
immunities.
Kid. Yeah,
in his season. So he is a threat. And so is Tasha. Tasha won about five immunities her season, if I'm not.
Tasha's got her physical game together. Right. Tasha's got her. She's
Jeremy's
she's
not
a
as
puzzle
physical
guy.
as you think, but you do want to get. He's a physical mental threat. You got to get rid of him. I mean,
Jeremy's a threat, without a doubt.
Now that he's got two idols that nobody knows about, he's somebody that needs to be blindsided immediately.
And now that is the huge thing that we're left with on Jeremy is that if he doesn't get blindsided, he's making it to the Final Four.
Right.
And if he plays his game right, he could have a possible win.
Well, he's got. If he sticks,
he hasn't screwed anybody so far, and the jury's going to like him. You know, he's a likable guy. He's seemed to get along pretty good with everybody already so far.
Yeah.
Obviously, Joe has got to be real careful.
And he's smart. You know, hey,
he is. Yeah.
Savage is a shield. Joe is a shield. You know, I want to keep Steven close by, but
he's not
gonna,
too.
He's not going to trust Steven much longer because
you don't think.
I don't know. I mean, he will, but he's got to come
he will.
He's got to come to the conclusion to think, if I go to the end with him, he could win it.
I think Fishbach.
You want to take a couple of girls that nobody likes.
I don't know if he looks at it like that. I really don't. I think
he should.
I think he believes.
If he's smart, he should.
I think he thinks
Fishbach could win.
I think he thinks he's a little too smart. I think that he believes in himself more than Fishbach being able to steal it away from him. I think that he feels Fishbach is that nerd that he can pull along to the end that didn't have much of a game, because Jeremy kind of comes off as a little bit in his own.
Who do you think's playing the game harder, him or Fishbach now?
Fishbach for sure. Fishbach, yeah. But Jeremy doesn't look at it like that. Jeremy doesn't look at it like that though. You know why? Because he has two idols. He believes he owns this game, and he's going to get cocky with that. Mark my word.
I think he's going to get careless. I'm going to stick to my guns.
He will.
And I think he's going to get blindsided.
Yeah, he'll end up going home.
I said with an idol in his pocket, but now he's going to go home with two idols in his pocket.
Right. No,
I think he is, man. I really do.
He may just get screwed.
It is a game of blindsides, and those girls could blindside him or Steven or anybody at any point.
Without a doubt. Yeah, the girls do have that power.
Now that Steven and Jeremy and Spencer switch sides with the three witches.
Yeah.
Everybody else might take aim. Hey, those three girls are guns for hire. We'll take those three and get rid of one of those.
And it kind of seems to be that way too. I mean, if they can
get rid of either Jeremy, Spencer, or Fishbach.
Yeah.
At this point, I think Fishbach's kind of running that trio.
And he kind
want to get rid of him.
You know what though? He isn't. He isn't, because Sierra has already pointed out the fact, like, hey, listen, we'll play along with your game as long as it doesn't involve us. But like us three, we're at the bottom, but we're really at the top.
They are at the top.
I mean, they kind of like Sierra is smart enough to see, like, we'll go along with Fishbach, but he's in our pocket. He thinks it's the other way around, but it's really not.
They saw everybody start swarming around, and they're going, well, they know you got 3 votes here,
and they've got.
You want to make a move? Here's 3 votes.
Right. Yeah.
And Fishbach wanted to make the move,
and they were fine to go along with it because it didn't involve them. So, and it took out one of the people, obviously Wigglesworth. With her going home, that takes out one of the people that they had to worry about.
Right.
That was one of a bigger threat in the female aspect of it.
Sure. Now there's just Kim. There's Kimmy and Tasha.
And Kimmy, she's not a huge threat.
No. Tasha's got to feel like her back's against the wall a little bit.
Without a doubt. Yeah. Tasha's
feeling betrayed by her. Sure. Feeling betrayed by probably her biggest ally in Jeremy.
Right.
And probably Fishbach. Now feeling that she was left out, and they pulled in Spencer, who's somebody that she never aligns herself with. So now she's going to Trust me. There's going to be some fireworks.
And Spencer, really, he's doing pretty good.
Spencer's smart.
He's doing pretty good throughout this.
Did you notice? And again, all editing. But did you notice when they won their reward, they're all sitting there, and Sierra's doing a lot of talking, and Fishbach's doing a lot of talking, and Spencer just sat there and nodded his head and kind of smiled and just listened. Didn't do a lot of talking.
I kind of did notice that.
You know what? That kid is smart, man.
It could be, like you said, that could be. He's a talkable. The kid talks.
He does
a lot. I mean, that could be an editing thing. I'm sure he was putting in his 2 cents.
Sure. But I just wonder, maybe the way they edited,
they might have been doing most of the talking, right? They were the ones to engage and kind of get the thing going while they had their spa treatment and getting things kind of in motion to what they would like to see play out in their own game.
I don't know if Spencer really wants to work with Sierra. So he let Fishbach take that.
Spencer does have his own people that I think he's kind of geared towards.
Spencer can go back and forth right now. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see him being a swing vote next week.
Oh yeah, I mean, he's definitely got that option at this point. I mean, he carried that once before.
There's 5 people, and you think it's a 6-4 alliance? No way.
Right.
It's a 3-3, and
it's split. Yeah, at least 3 ways right now. I mean,
you could bounce all over.
Right, you could
just like they said it
you could take
tribal.
those 3 teams, and you can
It changes every day.
Right,
you're trusting, and it's not like you don't trust that, but who do you trust today?
And it does seem like there is that evolution in the game where things have changed, where alliances aren't solid alliances.
Right.
Where they used to be solid, now they're very wishy-washy, and things do change.
You can't trust anybody.
Real quick. So, and then, that brings us to pretty much tribal council, where, of course, pouring down rain again.
Right.
Lightning's cracking everywhere. Joe and everybody's looking in the sky, getting like, oh, man, that was a close one.
Right.
And so, yeah, I mean, again, the rain, huge factor in the next episode.
Right.
I'm not sure where this next episode's going to go with Wigglesworth being gone. I don't see her being gone's not going to change the game a whole lot.
So. Well,
we're going to be in the same position.
It puts Keith, Kappenberg, and Tasha in a very queer situation. They just got played by 3 people in their alliance that were supposed to vote a certain way.
True.
So Joe again, I don't think really cares. He's along for the ride because he's planning on winning again.
Yeah, I mean that's all
all he can do. He knows he's the bottom. He's the bottom of that group.
And I'll tell you what, it's going to be pretty crazy too with the idol. And the fact that Jeremy's got it, and nobody knows.
No.
Everybody's going to be looking for that thing.
Yeah.
Joe, I can guarantee you, will be out there scrambling for it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's going to be a great episode next one, because we're really going to see, I think, the real divisions between people.
Yeah.
And I really don't know, but I could see a Tasha maybe going home.
You think?
I mean, I think the girls could be banding against what they consider a stronger competitor and against them.
I could see a Tasha going home. I don't know, or I could see one of them going home, actually. I could see, Jeremy, Fishbach, and Spencer jumping back to the other side going, all right, we need to break one of these 3 girls off. Which one are we going to break off?
I see.
I could see that, too.
I see
honestly,
Fishbach.
I can see Jeremy going either way. Fishbach or which way do you guys want to go? I don't care. I'm game. I got 2 idols.
That could be. But I can see. I can also see Fishbach holding on to those 3 girls, going for Tasha, going for Jeremy. I mean, those are going to be Fishbach's next big threats too.
Oh yeah.
So
he can keep Spencer along.
That's going to be right, and yeah, I mean Spencer is, I think, willing to work with Fischbach
until it's time to slit his throat, which
right.
he would.
Yeah, oh yeah, without a doubt.
This first time Spencer can get rid of Joe, and then he's a physical threat. I don't think Fischbach's going to win a challenge.
No, I don't think so either. Yeah, Spencer is definitely a physical challenge,
a little bit more than.
He is good at the puzzles too, so I mean that's always having the polished puzzle beating experience. You know, I mean that ends up being real huge sometimes. Sure. That's clutch at some points. So we'll end up seeing what happens. That'll be episode 10, next episode, and of course
then we'll be down to 9.
We see the preview. They're going to be suffering. So it's going to be fun to watch because there's nothing better than watching these people go through some serious suffering when the rain starts pouring down, and there's nothing they can do. They're hopeless. I mean, they sit there, and they're not even worried about being in the game at some points, and they're just like, I just want to go home. I just want to go home.
Right.
So that'll be fun.
You'll see that, but they bounce back.
Absolutely.
It's like a girl on a period. they freak out for a week and then they come back.
And they'll come back, right? But we'll see what happens. That's going to wrap it up for this episode. But join us again here next week. It'll be episode 10, Survivor. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And we will talk to you guys next week. Later.